Time is slipping away. Time is going more and more in the future. You are losing yourself. You are losing this opportunity to get rich wholesaling real estate. Are you going to go out here and let life keep going by? You have told yourself years and years that you are going to make a change. You've been telling yourself that you are going to get rich. You want the land, but what you're doing right now is just living a life of existence. You most likely wake up, go to work, come home tired, watch some TV, drown itself out, then go back and do it the next day. And this is a life of existence. You are probably watching this and you want to make a change. You see your circle of friends all staying the same. And is the goal of life, is the main part of life just to get married, have kids, and die? Is that why working for somebody else? Like, is that what life's all about? Is that really what life is? Your grandparents did it, your great-grandparents did it, and your parents did it. And you think, is that it? Like, is that what we have to do? The thing is, and I see this all the time, right? You see a lot of these like go ghost mode videos. You see a lot of these be a man type videos. What is it? You know, get rid of the dopamine detox videos, right? You see all these self-help, be a man type stuff. And a lot of it is all like a cash grab of, you know, join my SMMA course, be a crazy big personal trainer, day trading, all these crazy things that like, oh, at the end of this, join my program, and that's it. This is not what it is, okay? We can go ghost mode, and we can make a stupid amount of money wholesaling real estate, and we don't have to spend any money. Like, that's kind of the point today, and the point I'm talking to you today is you're not going to spend any money with what I'm going to tell you to do. There's no grab at the end of this. You know, the door that we are trying to open, and probably the door you have been trying to open your entire life, has been success, money, just taking care of your family, right? I don't think people try to get into real estate wholesaling and make a ton of cash just to, you know, just for the greed of money, just for the accumulation of things. It's really what that money, what that thing gets to you, right? Because not everybody wants to make $50 million wholesaling, right? You easily can if you compound it, you start early like me. But the thing is, like, you do it because you can retire your mom, retire your dad, travel the world, hang out, do all these things, and really live a life of doing whatever you want. And I'm somebody who's done over 2,500 wholesaling real estate deals, and I do, at this point, thousands of wholesaling deals every single year, and I make multi-millions of dollars every single year in wholesaling real estate. I call it real estate in general because I got my hands in a lot of things. But like, I started this journey 8 years ago. I'm 25 years old now, and I am happy to say I can do whatever I want whenever I want. I can cancel out this channel. I can go ghost on social media, and you'll never hear from me again. And I'll be very, very happy as a multi-millionaire. But the thing is that they'll not help anybody get out of this trap. And this trap of working a job, staying the same, and not changing. Most people, if you want to learn how to get in wholesaling real estate, you have to spend $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $12,000. And you don't need to do that. You can just get out right now. Now, you listen to these self-help guru type guys, right? They call it monk mode, right? They tell you, wake up at 4 a.m., run 10 miles a day. And a lot of wholesalers watch this stuff and they think, that's the key. That's what I got to do. That's how I'm going to get rich. And I've analyzed a lot of this and I've seen a lot of it. And what I can tell you is you're not day trading. You're not running a crazy personal like training business. You're not doing a lot of this stupid crypto stuff, right? You're not trading monkey art right online. You're wholesaling houses. You're practically a real estate investor. And what I can tell you is waking up at 4 a.m. is not what you actually should be doing. Running 10 miles a day will probably do you so much good stuff. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. The vast majority of multimillionaires in the wholesaling real estate space do not run 10 miles a day. I trained really hard for a marathon for like an entire year. I was running 10 miles a day, literally every day for a year. I did my marathon and I do not run that anymore, right? I do more weightlifting stuff now, but like I don't even run 10 miles a day anymore, right? What I can tell you is that is not what we need to be focusing on. In wholesaling real estate, the true successful ones don't do this stuff. They like to yap it. That's where you go, get the morning routine, meditate. That is not it, okay? Okay, that is not it. The truth is, what I'm challenging every young man and woman to do watching this, if you have kids or a family, that's okay too. But I'm challenging you to go ghost for the next 90 days. Heck, I even said this a week ago, and I've been saying this lately, is I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my success in wholesaling. And it's really cool to go back and kind of reflect after all these crazy things I've done. And I really think of like, what did I really do that I had the biggest change in my life? Like as a man, mentally, and just as a man and as my bank account and business. And I inadvertently did this, right? I didn't really listen to any like influencer type thing. The truth is there weren't any of these crazy be a man type guys when I was getting in the wholesaling game. You know, when I was 16, 17, right? We had Gary Vee, but like he mostly just said, do the work, right? And the thing is, if you just do the work, it gets done. And then you get rich. And what he said, right, was pretty basic. You don't hear him, you don't hear these type of guys talk anymore, right? This is how I grew up in the wholesaling space. It's like, just do the work. It's going to suck and just do it. And that's basically what I heard all day, right? I used to listen to Gary Vee putting bandit signs out when I was like 17. And the thing is, if you just do that, it works, right? But what I did was, I'm not going to say, I hate when people say go ghost mode, like specifically of just like getting rid of all of your friend, like, but you're going to have to remove a lot of the stuff that's stopping you from your success. And the whole point of what we call ghost mode, which it does work, if you just get away from distractions and just focus on one singular thing, you can put your success on steroids. That is the point of wholesaling. That's the point of how you get really, really rich. So go ghost. Like, get out of there. Like, get out of whatever situation you're in and come back, pull up as a changed man, as a changed woman, whoever's watching this, right? And if you really put a singular focus for the next 3 months, right? And a lot of people call it like the winter arc, right? This is the new, what the kids now call it. But like, if you just disappear for 3 months and come back, and you know, I'm not saying you go buy a cool car, but like, you know, you can pull up in a new whip because you probably can make $100,000, a lot of money. You can start doing things you want to do. And I will tell you this, I've achieved a lot of stuff in my life, and a lot of the stuff, like the physical things I have, really didn't do much for me. Like it really doesn't. The traveling's kind of cool and some of the sick things, but like there's a lot of points in my life where I haven't seen a lot of my friends from like high school, and they come back and see me and they're like, dang, that's a cool car. And dang, that's a sick house. Dang, that's so cool. I wish I could have that. And I get that a lot now. And I'll tell you that feels good, but it's not the point of why you're doing it, because you've evolved so high that it doesn't even matter anymore, because the circle of influence you have with your friends probably changed, right? And so I'll tell you right now is, if you can do the hardest things in life, right? So specifically, a lot of people like to avoid hard things. A lot of lazy people, not calling you lazy bum, but a lot of lazy bums, right? They avoid the hardest things in life, which is the work, right? And the one thing I found is the hardest things in life are the ones that actually qualify you for being successful. So what if I told you to become a lawyer, you had to get your JD or your Juris Doctorate, right? Whatever they call that, right? You have to pass the bar exam to be a lawyer. To be a doctor, you have to get a doctorate degree in practicing medicine. What if I told you that was a qualification? You'd be like, duh. But what if I told you to become successful in wholesaling real estate, you had to do the hardest things, which was cold call, get good at talking to sellers, actually the hard work, that's a qualification. You'd be like, wait, what? And a lot of people are like, how can I become a medical doctor, by only spending a year in medical school and making it for free. And a lot of people act how to be a lawyer and I have no education in and I never graduated high school. It's like, no, okay? And that's the same thing about becoming successful. The cool part about being successful in wholesaling is like, if you want to make 100 grand, you can do it in 2 or 3 months and you can just focus on the goal and you can do it like that. There's nothing else where you can make 100 grand in under 3 months that is completely legal. And I say this, like, think of all the other like guru type, influencer type, be a man type guys, right? It's like day trading, all this crazy stuff. It's all 14, 15 grand up front, or maybe it's $90 a month to get started. But the truth is I'm giving everything for free and you can do it. But the hardest things about wholesaling, and probably a reason why you want to get in this business, is to qualify you to be successful. You got to do the hard things to actually get the success you want. So what I could tell you is there's only 2 ways to focus on your goal, okay, on what you want to do. So I would say everyone should focus on 2 things if you want to go ghost, right? 2 things, your goals and your habits. If I could sit down and talk to anybody getting started in this business, I could tell you, focus on your goals and the habits you're going to do to get to that goal. And I know that's really, really simple. I know that is not a crazy thing to say, or it might be like, well, duh. But the habit is the thing that's going to keep you going. And it takes about 20, 21 days to start a habit, which is why this is for 90 days. But once you start the habit, you will find it works. Okay. And the thing about a habit is habits happen even when you don't want to do it, or even when you want to think about it, because it's a habit, you do it. And so many people only focus on the goals. They don't focus on the habits. And what I want you to do is focus on your habit, because if you focus on the right habit, it will lead to the goal. Just focusing on a goal will not make you do the habits you want to do. So let me give you 7 steps, 7 ways to actually start going out here and going ghost, upgrading your life, doing it in silence. You don't want to talk about what you're doing, right? That's one thing I tell everyone is like, don't be telling people, don't tell your friends and family you're wholesaling, right? Even if they ask, give it to them, but just be silent, shut up. The reason why we're doing what we're doing is the best feeling you probably have, and I help people do this on a daily basis, is I like to look at the 16 and 17-year-olds. Those are my personal favorite ones to help, because their mom tells them that wholesaling's a scam, wholesaling doesn't work. Their dad says, listen to your mom, and dad makes 60 grand a year, mom makes 30, 40 grand a year. They make 100 grand a year combined. And your mom, who's making 40 grand a year, is nagging you that this is bad, this is not good, this does not make me seem good at book club telling that my son is wholesaling and he's 17. What you're going to do is just shut them up. And what are you going to shut them up? Are you going to give them a middle finger, punch them in the face? No. Are you going to tell them off? No. Your parents are always right. You always hear that. Your parents are always right. Now, let me tell you something. You could shut your parents up really quick. And the one way to do that is to go out here and, for example, go to the clerk of the court, pull a probate list, truepeoplesearch.com, cyberbackgroundchecks.com, right? Get that list, all right? Call that list with Google Voice for free. Lock up a contract, bring your title company, find the buyer Zillow, right? And do it for 50 grand. You can easily make 50 grand on a probate deal, right? And I've documented this on a daily basis. Have a lawyer, an actual lawyer, right? I do a lot of deals in South Carolina without a license, by the way. Shout out to the gurus. And I have a lawyer because they are the ones closing, and they sign the check from a law firm. Signs the check to me, Zach in. And what you want to do is, this happens a lot, is you have a check for $50,000 and you just pull up to your parents' house after school and you have a $50,000 check in your hand to your name. That's more than your mom makes a year. That's almost more than what your dad makes a year. And say, hey mom, remember you told me wholesaling sucks? It sucks. Pull up with a $50,000 check and just shut up until you have it in there. That will be the most satisfying feeling you can ever have. And I have 16, 17-year-olds do this every single week. That is how you shut them up. That is how you move in silence. That is how you upgrade your life. And guess what your parents are going to do? They are not going to say whatever they're not going to tell you. They're going to say, I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did it. And what you're going to find is the people that don't support you in this journey, they're going to try to bring you down. Okay. But once you get there, they're going to say they've been supporting you since the beginning. I know it's true. It happens. But that's the best way to shut anybody up, is pull up with the check. Think how awesome that feels. It's amazing. That's what you have to be doing. So how do we do this? Step 1, step away, go ghost. I'll say 90% of your distractions, get rid of them. That is it. And the reason really is, and this is like a very, very basic reason. But if you can get rid of the things that aren't going towards your goals, right? So if our focus on getting a wholesaling deal is going out here playing video games at the library with my friend, or whatever, the bar with my buddies every single Friday night, is that getting me closer to my goal or not closer to my goal? And if it's not getting you closer to the goals, you have to remove that and use that time to get closer to the goal. So for example, you hang out with your friends 3 days a week, 3 nights a week, 3 hours each. There's 9 hours you could be using to doing wholesaling deals. You can do digital bandit signs, network with other like-minded people, get some JV deals done, right? Like whatever it is. But could those 9 hours be spent to get closer to our goals? The point is we want the highest chance possible to get that deal. And what I can tell you is don't get rid of it 100%, but just 90%. So maybe do one day a week. Make it 3 hours once a week. Okay. And even substituting a lot of that time with new friends that have aligned goals. And the thing is, nobody in your friend group is probably looking to start a business, most likely. Nobody in your circle of friends or family probably is going out here and trying to make a change in their life or trying to make life-changing money. And what you want to do is talk to people that actually have that goal, that can actually encourage you, and people that don't bring you down. And you'll find if you just go to zachdiscord.com, right, any of the community, right, anything on the YouTube channel, you're going to find others, men and women, that are trying to actually make a real big change in their life. And it's going to feel really good to do that. It's going to feel really good to actually have somebody that actually supports you, and even just a little bit of a support system, right? I had Rick Ginn to help me out, my dad, right? And I had just an amazing community now of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of followers that back me up and I back them up. And at least just following me or watching me, you don't feel as alone. And I'm not a non-accessible guy. People can access me, right? I have live streams and things like this. And you're not alone in this journey. I hope you know this. And so step 2 here is going to be having what I call a singular focus. A singular focus on what has to be done. That is a singular focus of what needs to be done. Our goal and our priority basically is to get our first wholesaling deal. This is where all of our focus honestly should be. This is the one goal. This is why we're going ghost. This is why we're sacrificing. This is why we're doing what we're doing. We are doing this for one specific thing. I'm not telling you to have 6 goals, 6 businesses. One thing. We are going ghost for one thing, and that's to get our first wholesaling deal. That's it. That's the sacrifice. That is the vision. That is what we're focusing on. There is nothing else that is more of a priority in my life than this right now. And this is why we're going ghost. This is why we're moving our distractions. This is why we're doing this, okay? So that means everything that isn't helping us towards that goal gets cut out at least 90 to 95%. That's it. Sleep, girls, bars, TV, social media, what you call fun, all these things. Just rizzing up a gal at the bar, is that going to get us closer to the goal or not? And I'm not saying that in like a facetious way or like, but like, is that getting us closer to the goal or not? I'm being honest with you, okay? No. And you just have to focus all of your effort in the next 90 days. I'm not telling you the rest of your life, right? I think 90 days, people make a dang sacrifice, right? It's just about going out here and cutting out what is not working. And you're watching this because you're sick of not getting a deal. You're sick of not actually moving forward. You're sick of not doing what you are destined to be doing, right? And if you just cut out every distraction and go all in, put all the bet on the, all in, chips on the table, bet on yourself, you can't lose. You really can't if you focus everything on this. And a lot of the fun you have, right? We're human beings. We're not robots. I will tell you, make fun things in your wholesaling things or your work things, right? So for example, one rule I tell men and women is if you love music, like I love music, right? I love all music, have a blast. It's awesome. It's amazing, right? That's duh. I think everyone loves it, right? I tell people if you love music, right? Make the only time you get to listen to music is at the gym or if you're driving for dollars, right? Make it seem like I can only listen to good music if I'm driving for dollars. That will make you want to drive for dollars more and have positive dopamine hits for driving for dollars. One thing I always tell people is like, I remember I was driving for dollars and I had a rule. If there's like a new album drop or something exciting that like I like in music, I can only listen to it if I am working while doing it. And so for example, this is how old I am. Astro World dropped, right, when I was a teenager, right? And I was making money wholesaling. So I told myself I'm only going to listen to Astro World while I cold calling or in between cold calls or specific driving for dollars or pulling listers, like something, right? And I could not listen to it, anything else. And that got me excited to go out here and drive for dollars, excited to cold call, excited to pull list, excited to text blast. And the thing is, I found that I actually had fun working. And a lot of people like think, oh, I don't know wholesale. Oh man, it's terrible. No, okay? Guys, this is what it is. All right, I'm just being completely honest with you. You have to make life short. We got to have fun. We can have fun while getting rich. Okay, a lot of people think it's getting rich is, it sucks. There's a lot of suck to it. You can do it with a smile. You can do it with, like, guys, like, you can either choose to deal with a bad, uncertain time with a smile or with a frown. And it's always better to have a smile with it. Number 3, I tell everyone, have what we call a body focus too. And what I mean by this is I'm not getting foo-foo, woo-foo. You know, I'm not the epitome of health in the world. Like, I'm not, oh man, everyone's to be like me. But one thing I will tell you, and this is just something I found, and call me crazy, there's a lot of fat, rich wholesalers, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of short, fat, bald gurus, but not a lot of short, fat, bald wholesalers, okay, that are actually multimillionaires. Only the gurus are short, fat, and bald. And one thing I can tell you is, I mean, most of them are bald because they're so stressed because they can't sell courses that, I'm not going to say that. But one thing I can tell you is have a body focus. And this is just part of being a good person and feeling good about yourself and mentally feeling like at least in 90 days you're getting something done. I will tell you is dedicate at least 3 hours a week to the gym or 21 miles of walking or running. Right? Just like make that your thing. And there's a reason why I want you to do that. Number one, you're going to feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, you're going to have more confidence, right? It's all about improvement in life. And you're going to feel more motivated. And what I found is you have a lot more energy. You have a lot more passion for the day. And a lot of people don't understand this, but like if you don't work out and you start working out, you always find time to work out. And the people that don't work out always don't have time to work out. And then you start learning the habit of, actually, it's all about prioritization. And so I tell everyone, 3 hours a week at the gym, weightlifting, or 21 miles running a week, 3 miles a day. If you can focus on that, I guarantee you'll probably lose some weight. You'll feel a lot better. You'll have a lot more energy. Just do this for 90 days. You never have to work out again if you don't feel any better. But just try that, okay? Just try it. I promise you, you're going to feel better and you're probably sound a lot better wholesaling. Just being honest with you. And if you are able to do this, the 3 hours at the gym or the 21 miles, I'm giving everybody here a cheat week. What this means is every Sunday or Saturday, you're allowed at night, if you hit your goals for fitness, you can get 1 to 2 hours of whatever you should have a cheat day, right? You should have a cheat day once a week, right? Not for eating crap, but for actually like doing well. And what I mean by this is like whatever it is, video games, want to watch your sports, right? Whatever, like that's what I'd say. Now I'm going to say another quote that is going to get me in a lot of trouble. I'm going to get a lot of trouble for saying this, but I'm adamant about this. And the more money I make, the more I'm into this. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I am a person that does not miss a Miami Dolphins football game. I am a guy that watches every single game if the Heat are in the finals. But I will tell you that sports is the Kardashians for men. And what I mean by this is a lot of men will say, oh my gosh, why are you watching the Kardashians? Duh, Khloe, oh no, her man broke up with her. Why is this so crazy? But then you'll go say, oh, Jason Tatum hurt his ankle, oh no. And then your girl's looking at you like, why do you care if this guy breaks his ankle? Like, what's the point here? And the funny part is, oh man, this guy, he throws ball farther than this guy, and that's important in life. And I know sports, I love sports more than anything, I will tell you this. But one thing I would tell you is sports is Kardashians for men. And a lot of people are going to start unsubscribing after I say this. But just understand that from an outside perspective, it doesn't matter, right? They're billionaires that pay millionaires. That is what the NFL is, okay? Billionaires that pay millionaires. And a lot of people, I have found, are obsessed with sports. And I love sports too. But one thing I will tell you is if your team wins the Super Bowl, you'll feel good for a day. If you're like me, if the Dolphins won a Super Bowl, I'll probably feel good for a week. And that dopamine hit kind of runs away. What about all my LA Rams fans? You guys still remember the Super Bowl, or are you still upset your team sucks? The thing is, if you become a multimillionaire, the dopamine hit of residual 100K a year passive income checks will be way more than your team's Super Bowl win. And as a guy that loves the Dolphins and loves NFL, I will tell you the dopamine hit is not even close to a Super Bowl win as being able to take care of my entire family. Not even close. So one thing I will tell you is Rick loves UFC. I love MMA. I love watching it. I probably watch it every other week if there's a big fight. But I cut myself to like 1 to 2 hours a week, right? And you can get addicted to it. Like some people are obsessed with their soap operas and Kardashians. You just got to choose what it is. And what I can tell you is, I'm not saying that to insult you, but really think about that statement. Is this going to make you watch more sports or less sports? And one thing I will tell you is, let me give you a hack of basketball. I did this hack in basketball. Maybe this makes me an unloyal fan. I love the Miami Heat like crazy. I used to watch every Miami Heat game. Then I went saying, you know what, I'm only going to watch one Miami Heat game a week. And now for me, honestly, I probably watch a Miami Heat game every other week or when I'm with my friends. And then I watch every single playoff game. And I found that that's a lot better. And so I'll tell you, sports is Kardashians for men. If you understand that sports don't pay your bills, and if your team wins, it doesn't pay your bills. Even in fantasy football, we're going to make $100, $200. We're talking about making 30, 40, 50 grand every single stinking month. So still watch sports, but I will tell you, dedicate to only one thing. There's a lot of people that watch every sports game. I only watch the Miami Dolphins, and that's it. And I found a hack of I can pull a list while I watch the Miami Dolphins because that's even better for me. Because football is great on pausing and unpausing, things like that. You'll start finding that you're in, your ghost mode now. You can come back and watch all the sports you want once you start making a ton of money. What you're going to find is, and I hate to say this, but the more money you make, the less interesting sports are. And this is coming from a guy that can buy pretty much any seat he wants at a basketball game or at a football game. And I can tell you is it's still less interesting than going out here and doing anything, right? Like I go to any country in the world and go eat the best food there. And it's like, wow, it's like, dang, this might be better than courtside at a Lakers game, right? And so what I can tell you is sports are important. A lot of men have a great relationship with sports, but you got to remember that like some of y'all are too crazy about it, right? Guys, nobody cares about the University of Alabama winning the next football game comparatively to their life. The one thing I would tell you is some of the most obsessed people in sports are Alabama football fans. And their whole personality is if they win or not. Roll Tide, right? That's all they care about. And one thing I'll tell you is the amount of time and effort and upset you get if the Alabama loses a football game. You should be just as upset if you are broke. You should be just as upset that your life is not making a change. Oh, we lost Nick Saban. Who cares? Why are you broke? Make a change. You can't change your Alabama football team. These are guys who aren't from Alabama that are being flown in from California playing for your team that do not care about the university. They'll transfer out if they can't start. Why are you caring so much about a college team that will not pay you at all? You should make a change about your own dang life. Okay? And maybe I'm bitter because the Florida Gators suck at football. But one thing I will tell you is it doesn't matter if they suck or not, because I'm telling you, it's all about getting rich. This is the key. And I still watch a lot of sports, but it becomes way more important to get rich than the sports. And just really look at what you're doing. Number 4, before everyone gets upset at me, write down exactly what must be done the night before. And then the next day, you do what's written down. I know this is a weird thing to say or something that's foreign for a lot of people, but have a notepad, write it on your notes. I like to go on my calendar and then write a to-do list every single day on my calendar. But this is what I do. I write down the 5 or 6 things that have to be done. Do this, look at the deals, meeting, whatever it is. Write down 8, 9, 10, whatever has to be done. Put it from priority, if you can, on the most important task to the least important task, and then do that. One thing I did learn personally, and this might not help much people, but sometimes I like to get my head and overthink, oh my gosh, I got all these things. I'm like, I'm stressed. Whenever I'm stressed that I have to do a lot of things, one thing I do is I always write down a to-do list from the most important to the least important, time sensitive, and then do that list. Makes my life a lot easier if you write down what your problems are and what they have to be done. Specifically, we're also going to make a schedule. Hey, 10 a.m. I'm doing this. Noon to what? I'm doing this. To hear from here, I'm doing this. You go to this Discord, ZachDiscord.com, post, hey, is this a good schedule for wholesaling? Boom. You have a lot of probably millionaires and other wholesalers telling you, oh yeah, it's good, that's not good, right? You don't have to pay for Discord, it's absolutely for free. But one thing I'm telling you is just write it down. A lot of people, and the worst thing you can do in wholesaling is wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I don't know what I should do today. Not a good idea, okay? If you wake up and you don't know what you're doing, you're done. You're cooked. You are not going to accomplish what has to be done. The reason you guys love sports is you watch Patrick Mahomes win a crazy game and all, but like you got to remember, Patrick Mahomes just doesn't walk out there, throw crazy bombs and win games just because he's just I'm just doing it, on the whim. No, it's planned out. He looks at the defense, he knows the habits, he does all this planning. Okay, Mr. Sports Obsessed. And then because of all the habits he knows and all the planning is done, then he executes that plan. And most of the plays and what he's going to do is already written out from Andy Reid, probably a week before. And you're telling me he just got lucky. You don't get lucky in wholesaling either. You plan out an attack, you know the defense, you know how to get around the defense, you know how to actually go out here and destroy. That is it. I've told you, Alexander the Great did not conquer most of Europe by the age of 28. I think he became king of Macedonia at 22. By just, I'm going to invade Persia. No, he made a plan and he executed the plan. And you don't conquer your life, your financial life, by just sitting around, I don't know what I'm doing. You have to plan. Not making a plan is a plan to fail. Don't be doing it. Number 5, and a lot of the work is the work, and we got to do the work. But one thing I'll tell you to do is change your thinking, change your mind, and more specifically, change your wiring. I think a lot of people do not change their wiring. Their plans are all screwed up, and the way their brain is not good. Specifically, I think we have a lot of bad habits, and these habits are formed for sometimes decades of just learning from your parents. A lot of people have childhood trauma, whatever it is, right? And they just have bad habits, right? Specifically, right? They judge others, they judge themselves, they make excuses, they blame people why their life's not going good, and they think life is against them. I will tell you this, life is not against you. The worst one's when you feel sorry for yourself. It's not acceptable or anything. But one thing I would tell you is, go Goggins. And what I mean by that, I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but go Goggins. So think of David Goggins, right? Everyone loves David Goggins, right? I love David Goggins. If you don't know David Goggins, just look the guy up. But does he make excuse? Does he feel sorry for himself? Does he cry about how life is terrible? He's one of these crazy Navy SEAL guys, but when you become a high output person, right, you tend not to make excuses. You tend not to feel sorry. You tend to feel like life happens and we are going to change what we can change and not dwell on what we can't change, right? And one thing you'll say is if you can start thinking in a mindset of what I can control, what I can control, what I can't control, and that's what I focus on, that's what you should be doing. And so stop thinking about these thoughts that are not doing us any service and really have this talk to yourself. It's like, hey, does me doing this, does it make me closer to my goal or not closer to my goal? That is it. Remember, we are our thoughts. Like we are the cumulative, our personality, most of it is our thoughts, right? And sometimes we let our thoughts do everything for us and we have bad habits and our thoughts run wild and we have these crazy things, right? For example, a lot of people have these thoughts and they're quick to anger. And the thing you can know about when you're quick to anger, right, it might be a personality trait, but you can train yourself to think better. And you can actually change your thoughts and they'll change your habits. And one of the things I'll tell everyone is just focus on like being slow to anger and quick to get over things. And what I mean by this is if you get angry quickly, you have to start thinking about why you're angry about something and does me being angry over this thing help me serve my goal of getting my first wholesaling deal, or does it not serve my goal? For 99% of situations, it does not serve my goal. So be slower to anger and more specifically, just be quicker to get over something. Not a lot of people are like, oh, I don't get angry. No, you just get over things quick, right? So I have this all the time. You know, I get people that screw me over $4 or $5 and $20,000, $30,000 wholesaling deals. And what I learn is me being angry and cursing the guy out and calling him is not going to serve my purpose of being a better person. Just get over it, because I know in this business, for every 100 wholesaling deals I do, probably got 2 or 3 snakes in there. And that's okay. You know, I'm not angry when somebody tries to screw me, because it's just, if you expect it, it happens. Now, I don't expect every single person to screw me on a wholesaling deal, but one thing I do expect is at least 1% to 2% of every deal I do, there's something fishy. The seller tries to screw me, there's a title issue, there's just something that always comes up. The buyer tries to sneak around to the seller, right? Like it just happens, right? And I have a rule and kind of a theory of people is at least 1% of all people are complete garbage human beings. And I know that might be a crazy thing to say, but like 1% of everybody has probably done something bad. And they will snake in a deal, they will do terrible things, and roughly it's about 1%. I think the 0.5% of people are psychopaths or like have no empathy towards others, and you got these crazy things. But like one thing I will tell you is, in general, what I found in the wholesaling space, 1% of people are completely terrible. And I could say that in the nicest way possible, okay? And so if you can expect 1% of people to try to steal the deal from you, lie to you, cheat you on a deal, right? When 1% of people actually do that thing, you get less upset. And I found about 1% of everyone I deal with are just trashy people that take greed and try to screw you over, right? And as long as you're just legit expecting it, not everyone, but 1%, when that 1% happens, you don't really cry over it, right? And you'll find this, like if you ever go to school, right? If you have 100 people in your class, at least one person is a jerk or a bully or something. Like it's just, most people are generally 1%. And so you just got to be understanding, just get over it. If you're alive, you're alive. Be blessed, keep it up, and you'll do well. Number 6, I think this is really important for people too. Learn to deal with stress, rejection, and fear. If I could tell anybody who's really nervous talking to a seller, if you can get over these 3 things, you're going to become Superman in wholesaling, right? If you could deal with the stress of this business and really the pressure that you sometimes get of, I have to get a deal, you don't have to get a deal. If you do not get the deal, you're not going to be homeless on the street. You're just going to get a new one, right? But the thing is, you have to deal with the stress of, oh, I have to close this seller. Like, yeah, you're going to the appointment, you need to close them, right? But if you don't close them, your life's not over. You're not going to die. You're not going to prison. It's not like that, right? As long as you know how to deal with stress, like we're literally on a spinning rock out here in outer space going around the sun. Like none of this ever makes sense. Like we really shouldn't overthink things. And knowing that you're going to die one day, you'd rather die without regrets than with regret. And just like stop like overthinking. Like life's too short. Like I don't really take much things seriously. I do take things seriously, but like overall, like you're all going to die. Like in 100 years, 150 years, no one's really going to know you. And that's like, I don't get stressed. One thing I will tell you is you have to deal with rejection though. I think a lot of people have these egos and they're not used to somebody telling them no. And you have to get used to it. And rejection is an important thing. And it's something that if it happens to you enough, you just kind of get used to it. And the one thing I look at rejection is if you know about 20% of your offers or 50% of your offers, they're going to say no. Just expect it. And when it happens, like, I know it's a 50-50 shot. You can do your best to make it 70-30, right? I'm not 100% going out here and getting every seller to deal with me, right? Like I look at Kobe Bryant, I know exactly with sports, but like Kobe Bryant, I think he shot 35% 3-point percentage. And so he expected 30% of the time he was not going to make it. And that was the stats. And so, 60% of the time he probably wasn't going to make the shot. He's still came in there with full execution, full confidence he can make it. But he knows most likely it's not going to go in. And that's not that he's fearful that's not going to, if it doesn't go, it doesn't go in. But like, you should just know that rejection is a part of the game. And if you're not getting rejected, you're not doing it enough. So deal with the rejection of someone not being nice to you, somebody not accepting your offer, somebody cursing at you because you're cold calling. It's a part of the game, guys. Like it's a part of the game. And so one thing I tell everybody watching this is just deal with the rejection. It happens. And lastly is deal with the fear. I think this is the easiest one because like what do we have to fear? Oh no, we go back to our old life. Like you're already in the old life. Like you're trying to get out of the old life. It's not like you get regulated to or downgraded to a worse life. Like your life stays the same if you don't succeed. So it's not like your life is worse. It's not like you're spending 30, 40 grand. If you're spending 20 grand for a wholesaling course, then yeah, sure. You'll probably be homeless because you had to get in debt to learn wholesaling course, but that's stupid. I have a free course for wholesaling.com. You just got to deal with the stress, rejection, and fear, and just knowing we're not going to make it out alive. Like stop overthinking. Like stop thinking the world is going to end if I don't get a deal, right? It's important to get a deal, but your life is not going to end. Okay? That is what I could say. You're not making it out of life alive, so stop overthinking things. That's all I could tell you. And so you will find the skill of just going out here and not fearing the fear, not being scared to be rejected, not being scared of not getting a deal or not getting the offer and all that stress. If you can handle it, you're good. You got to remember, every successful person deals with stress, right? So like you think of a general of the army or, a conqueror. They have stress. They're worried if their men are going to win the war, they're going to win the battle, and if, they're coming for you. Presidents deal with stress. The top CEOs, billionaires, and millionaires deal with stress. Stress is a part of the game. And the one great quote I've heard about stress is, if you're stressed, that means you're alive. And because you're alive, you are blessed. And you got to start thinking about that too. Stress is in every part of life. You're stressed at work. You're stressed on traffic. You're stressed with a deadline going to a baby shower, right? Stress is part of everything, right? And so just knowing stress is a part of life, at least make your stress towards wholesaling versus anything else, right? And the thing is, number 7, how are we dealing with this? Like, how are we actually getting deals? How are we getting rich? What's the point here? I'll tell you, there is about 5 ways that we got to be doing deals. And I'm calling these the 5 habits of wholesaling success. But like, if you're a beginner and you got no money, which I'm expecting you have no money, start focusing on these 5 things. Cold calling, number 1. Texting motivated sellers, number 2. Networking, or what we call JVing, number 3. Digital bandit signs, or posting on Craigslist and Facebook ads. Then number 5, posting sticky notes, trying for dollars, reverse trying for dollars. If we focus on these 5 habits, that's it. Like, we're going to get rich. And more specifically, if we're going to have some sort of habit of doing at least, if we're going whole ghost mode, I'd probably say 20 hours a week. If you give it 20 hours towards these things, like actual like income producing, like, hey, does this hour, was it helping me produce deals and produce income, or not produce deals and not produce income? What you're going to find is calling a seller and cold calling is going to get me deals. Say yes. So at least 15, 20 hours of this, specifically 20 probably, if we're going all in, all focus, we're going to do good. So cold calling sellers, texting sellers, JVing, networking, and ZachDiscord.com, the comment section on my channel, right? All these things. Digital bandit signs, posting those on Craigslist, Facebook groups, putting sticky notes out on doors. That are the new habits we get to do deals and become successful and ultimately make a stupid amount of money wholesaling real estate. And so habits rule all. Habits are the way we're going to be becoming successful. Habits are how we are getting rich. That is it. So a lot of people really think that, oh my gosh, these things are outside. Everything's in our control if we can control our habits. The habit makes sure we're working out. The habit that we're marketing and motivated sellers. The habit that we sleep well. The habits to think correctly. And the habits specifically to do the work even when you don't want to do them. And in women, it takes 21 days to create a habit. You have to start this habit. Go ghost for 90 days. Pull up in 90 days with 3 checks, 120 grand total, and your life will never, ever be the same. It will not. I promise you, it will be all for the better. But you have to make the decision to make the change. I'm counting on you. I did this. Got me rich. Heck, I've been doing this for 8 years. But one thing I can tell you is it all takes one action compounded on a million different things, and you'll get everything you ever wanted in life. And the last thing I can tell anybody is whatever you want in life, if another man has done it, it can be done. And so if you see somebody run a mile in 4 minutes, that means you can do it. You can train your body to do it. If another person has made $1 million wholesaling, me, I mean, multi-millions every single year, you can do it too. You just have to know you can do it, believe in yourself, and do the habits that it takes you to get to that point. It's not impossible. There's a lot of people that do it. And so one thing I can tell you is go out here, do the work, and get rich wholesaling real estate.